Hi everyone, welcome back to a new session of Polity and Governance of the week gone by. Let's look into the most important issues of polity and governance from October 12 to October 18, that's the week. And the very first issue is about RTI Act, which brought in a lot of transparency, helped to detect corruption, and also brought in accountability on the public officials, now completes 20 years. However, there are certain challenges that the RTI Act faces as of its completion with regard to 25 years as well. So let's look into some of the achievements first before going into the challenges. One is it empowered citizens to ask the government for information and access information with regard to many public services, schemes, welfare schemes, amenities, and government processes and policies as well. It combated corruption, brought to fore many important high-profile corruption scandals, for example, regarding the electoral bonds, the Adarsh housing scam, etc. It enhanced accountability by enabling the citizens to scrutinize the public projects, budget allocation, and also the government decisions. It strengthened democracy. However, challenges to the RTI Act have emanated from the recent amendment of 2019, which gives the government control over the tenure and the salaries of the information commissioners, raising concerns about their independence. Number two is the Digital Data Protection Act of 2023, which amended the RTI Act to exempt all personal information which critics argue can be used to shield public officials from scrutiny. High blockage and delays. Numerous information commissioners, including the CIC, face several delays due to shortage of staff and vacant commissioner positions. Threat to activists. RTI activists, especially at the grassroots level, face harassment, intimidation, violence, etc. And there is bureaucratic resistance. So these are some of the challenges apart from the achievements of the RTI Act, which completed 20 years of accountability and also transparency. Now, with regard to the same thing, 25 years of support to wildlife warriors is now being done by Wildlife Trust of India, and to commemorate this 25 years of One Rakshak project, which it launched in support of the International Fund for Animal Welfare, which focuses on creating a more motivated, well-equipped force to protect the wildlife. This report recognizes and highlights the role of Indian forest protectors. The report is called as the Guardians of the Wild, supporting India's frontline forest staff, features 540 rangers who were killed and injured during the line of duty. Now, this One Rakshak project was launched in 2000 with the support from International Fund of Animal Welfare, and to commemorate this project, it has launched this report bringing out the importance of wildlife supporters. This project was launched to create a motivated and well-equipped force with capacity building, equipment provision, and welfare and financial support. The WTI and its partners emphasized, despite their critical role, forest protectors suffer from the lack of resources recognition, and it calls to action for increased investment in their equipment, training, welfare, ensuring they continue to protect wildlife effectively. And 12 lakh accounts of the central government now have migrated to Zoho platform. Almost 1.2 million email accounts of the central government employees, including the Prime Minister's office, have now migrated to a cloud platform developed by Indian tech company Zoho, the most serious email services from the previously National Informatics Center. The purpose of the migration is to improve Digital India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, to enhance data sovereignty and reduce reliance on outside open platforms as well. And in 2023, Digital India Corporation invited bids from private firms to manage government email services. The winning bid was not officially announced, but Zoho was selected for this. And despite the migration, Zoho's infrastructure, the official email addresses will continue to be established in nic.in and gov.in. Now, the migration follows a cyber attack on the AIMS accounts and from which are dependent on the NIC, and also along with email, government has activated Zoho's official suite, including word processing, spreadsheets, and presentation, to reduce reliance on open source applications. So Zoho's platform was selected following severe security audits conducted by NIC, CERT-in, and Software Quality Systems. Kurmis across Jharkhand and West Bengal are demanding for SC status, but then a rally called as Hunkar Maharali has been held to protest the Kurmis' renewed demand for ST status. The tribal accused Kurmis of attempting to usurp their constitutional rights, political representation and reservation benefits. The tribal organizations argue that granting ST status to the Kurmi community of Jharkhand, West Bengal and Odisha, which is larger, more socially, economically advanced, would dilute the reservation and protection intended for the existing tribes. Arguments against the Kurmi ST demand from the tribal groups and some research bodies include political domination. So these Kurmi communities they are a part, or they want to become a part of the ST's category, and they will gain political dominance, control over land, jobs, political offices, etc. Loss of identity. The Adivasis group worry that their unique tribal identity will be undermined and their culture will be erased if the Kurmis, who are now presently OBC, will be given ST status. Economic superiority. Some allege that the land-owning Kurmi community is a progressive group that has benefited from the government schemes, unlike many marginalized tribes. Lack of criteria. The Tribal Research Institute of Jharkhand recommended that the Kurmi against the Kurmi request, stating that the community did not have the necessary primitive traits or other required characteristics to be classified as scheduled tribe. And the broader political context, multiple recommendations which the government of Jharkhand has recommended Kurmi for SC status in 2004. Center rejected this based on the Tribal Research Institute's ground that they do not have primitive states. The issue, however, is politically sensitive for Jharkhand, as Kurmis represent a significant vote ban, political risk, alienating either Kurmi community or tribal groups, and oppose the tribal demand. Interstate conflict. The demand for the SC status for Kurmi, which is present in West Bengal, Odisha, has now gained in similar protest in West Bengal and Odisha apart from Jharkhand. And now it's good news for Delhi NCR region, where the Supreme Court has allowed the sale of green crackers in Delhi, relaxing its blanket ban on fireworks in Delhi and NCR region, allowing the sale and use of approved green firecrackers on a test case basis. The decision was made to balance environmental concerns with traditional festive celebrations, especially for Diwali. This temporary relaxation modifies earlier court orders that has imposed a total ban on firecrackers in capital to combat severe air pollution. The Supreme Court justified the temporary relaxation by adopting a balanced approach, considering several factors. There was a failure of the total ban. The court noted that a complete ban on the crackers failed to prevent the use of firecrackers. Instead, it led to smuggling of conventional, more polluting firecrackers, which caused greater environmental harm than the regulated green crackers. Reduced emissions. The green crackers are designed to reduce particulate matter and 10% less sulfur dioxide and nitrous oxides compared to traditional firecrackers. Test case. The Supreme Court has evaluated the impact of regulated use of Delhi's air quality, with pollution control boards required to submit reports from October 14 to 25th regarding the air quality. Stakeholder interest. The decision has taken into account the livelihoods of the workers in firecracker industry and the public sentiment for traditional celebration. Supreme Court decision comes at a time when Delhi NCR, while being under total ban, there was fake use of QR codes for green crackers. Conventional crackers were being sold in the black market, and the ban was not properly implemented, and therefore this is a test case with conditions to be implemented, being taking into account a balanced approach. Now, Telangana has moved Supreme Court over the stay of 42% OBC quota in municipalities. Into September 2025, Telangana government issued a government order to increase BC reservation in municipalities and panchayat from the existing 25% to 42%. While existing reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, the new 42 BC% has pushed the reservation above 50%, coming up to 67%, surpassing the 50% mandated by the Indira Saune judgment of the Supreme Court. On October 9, 2025, the High Court of Telangana stayed the 42% reservation for the OBC, saying that it violated the 50% limit and did not fully meet the triple test criteria for implementing OBC reservation. The High Court clarified that the election process should proceed without the enhanced quota. The Telangana government then challenged the High Court's interim stay in the Supreme Court, arguing that 50% was not absolute and the quota reflected the will of people. The Supreme Court dismissed the state's petition, declining to interfere with the High Court's interim order. The court's reasoning said that it could not ignore the established 50% reservation ceiling and did not accept the argument that exceptional circumstances justify the breach. And therefore, Telangana Supreme Court had dismissed the government's plea against the High Court's order, staying the 42% reservation for backward classes in the local body election. The ruling was made on October 16, 2025 and prevents the quota increase and allows the local body elections to proceed with existing criteria. Now, J&K is demanding statehood, and it is continued demand from the local politicians and citizens, with issue currently being deliberated even by the Supreme Court of India. The central government maintains that the statehood will be restored at an appropriate time. In 2025 October, the Supreme Court of India gave the central government 4 additional weeks to respond to petitions regarding the restoration of J&K statehood. The court's order followed a bat of petitions, arguing that prolonged delay in restoring statehood, particularly after the 2024 elections, violates constitutional principles of federalism and ignores citizens' rights. In 2023 ruling, the Supreme Court upheld the abrogation of the 70 article, but also directed the central government to restore statehood to JK at the earliest. The National Conference leader and Chief Minister Omar Abdullah has repeatedly demanded restoration of full statehood. He recently stated that he would consider becoming a party to statehood before the Supreme Court, and he has also stated that his government needs the power on law and order to repeal laws like the Public Safety Act. The former J&K state was reorganized into Union Territory in 2019, and it was divided into two Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh following the abrogation of Article 370. The central government stated a roadmap for restoration of statehood involving 3 steps. Number 1, delimitation of constituencies. Number 2, holding assembly elections, and then restoring statehood. Elections have been held, and Chief Minister Omar Abdullah has now asked the government to take ahead the final step of restoring statehood. Let me tell you, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir does not have executive or legislative power on public order, police and land. And this is a key difference from full-fledged states where police and land are typically under the control of the state government and not the central government as in the form of Union Territories. Now, a very good news for women, where they are constituting 49% of the total hospital admissions under the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, bringing in gender equality with regard to healthcare. This figure has been released by the National Health Authority's Annual Report 2024-25, reflects efforts to improve access to institutional healthcare for women. The key insights are gender equity. The report shows that there is high degree of gender equity in healthcare access, with women accessing as much as healthcare services as men. Ayushman card recipients, more of them are women, approximately 49%. A conscious effort has been made to design the scheme to minimize gender bias. Unlike the previous insurance program where there was a cap on family size which could disadvantage women, Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana removed this cap, and the issues of individual card member have now been introduced. The health benefit package includes almost 141 services, especially for women, which includes access to increased access to healthcare like oncology, ophthalmology, etc., and high utilization of female beneficiaries. A high percentage of hospital admissions for women follows a trend which is seen even in primary healthcare as well, and this data has been given from the Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers, and there is improved access to healthcare by women, making them less dependent on other members of the family. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana is the world's largest government-funded health insurance scheme and has also been appreciated by the WHO. And let's look into the second last issue for the week. That's about Gorkha demands now being continued, and the center has now appointed interlocutors. The movements for a separate Gorkhaland state has been a central political issue for the Gorkhas staying in Darjeeling Hills since 1980s. In October 2025, this month, the Government of India appointed a former Deputy National Security Advisor, Pankaj Kumar Singh, to hold talks with the Gorkha representatives regarding their political demands. The appointment of the new interlocutor has been criticized by West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, calling it centre's unilateral decision without taking into confidence the state. and the representatives of the Gorkha Janmukti Morcha faction have demanded the separate Gorkhaland state. Representatives have also called for scheduled tribe states for Gorkha subcommittees. There are other demands also made by the Gorkha committees. For example, equal pension rights for the ex-British Gorkha soldiers who retired prior to 1997. They are having less pension, and therefore they call equal pension rights, especially in Britain, and this is called for a strike in 10 Downing Street, which brought into attention the government of Britain. Nepali and British officials resumed talk in London with regard to pension parity and also welfare of the ex-Gorkha servicemen. The British side responded positively, and the British Gorkha pension scheme was revisited in 2025 April, giving an increase of 6%, but many of them who are staying in Britain are unhappy because they do not meet the living expenses there. And former Gorkha British soldiers demanded the right to retain their Nepali citizenship after being enlisted in the British Army, expressing concern that government may cancel their citizenship. And the last issue for the week is about Nagaland constituting a panel to review the quota policy. A push for renewed review has been created a tribal rift with advanced tribes seeking change. The backward tribes oppose any adjustments, citing their continued social and economic disadvantage. Now, the current policy reserves 80% of the state's job for indigenous scheduled tribes. 37% is a reservation within reservation for 11 specific backward tribes. Now, protesting tribes claim that they are underrepresented despite holding a higher percentage of government jobs relative to their population. However, beneficiary tribes maintain that the policy is necessary to ensure equitable representation for the Naga communities. The review was prompted by the Committee of Review of Reservation Policy, which represents 5 advanced Naga tribes: the Angami, Ho, Lota, Ringma and Sumi. The tribes argue that the reservation policy originally implemented in 1977 is outdated and does not reflect current socio-economic realities. The earlier version of the commission was formed in August 2025 was rejected by the Naga tribes. The new body is called as Reservation Review Commission, a name change meant to signal a review that goes beyond just job quotas and addresses broader tribal concern. The commission will examine constitutional provisions, socio-economic criteria, existing policy and submit a report within 6 months. So these are the most important topics I thought I should be discussing in brief with you for the week gone by. If you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video. Catching the issue as an early bird when it's fresh always helps for the preparation in a long term and even to face the interview in a better way as well. So if you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment. I shall see you in my next week Polity and Governance for the week gone by. Until then, it's very happy learning.